have new names, new faces, I want to introduce myself. First of all, my name is Jennifer Strother, and I am a functional nutrition and recovery specialist. So I am certified in functional nutrition. I'm also certified in detoxification and functional blood work certification. I am here because I love treating your body like it is the most important project that you are ever going to work on. I truly believe that you can heal your body from the inside out. I have worked on this with my family. I've had my own family where we have needed to come off of some ADHD medication years ago. Goodness gracious, over probably 15 years ago. Almost 20 years ago, coming off of ADHD medication because there were some other health challenges. And I'm just going to be honest with you, at the time, I saw some stunted growth, but did not understand the whole magnitude of how bad those medications can be long term. If someone in your family needs help with medication, I am completely open to those conversations to talk about the pros, the cons, what you need to do after that. And I'm not an ADHD specialist, but I have worked with some that do see benefits in some short-term medication and having to reset the brain, but there's certain ones to work on. So not going to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, we did work on with nutrition to recover one of our children from those ADHD symptoms. And then I had a mom who had breast cancer for 35 years and did a lot holistically with nutrition and helping her body accept and absorb the medication that she needed. And that is one thing that I really feel very strong with, is that absorption. You're going to hear that over and over and over, because so many people on social media are trying to sell you a product, a quick fix. How many of you have seen a product for cortisol? How many people have used, how many of you have seen a, all-in-one hormone, like your hormone, what do they call it? Like quick fix, or your hormone fix, like fix your hormones, balance your hormones. I am here to tell you that if it were that easy, I wouldn't be sitting here. Okay. I tried for years to balance my hormones after adrenal fatigue of dealing with a sick infant and a mother who was passing away. During that time, my son was 2, 3, had been diagnosed with multiple autoimmune conditions, celiac, mast cell activation, where the bone marrow is overreactive, his immune system is overreactive, and he could not eat anything. And I was trying to recover my hormones and could not do it, even with $500 worth of products a month. Okay. So tons. And they were not absorbing. Things were not working. Okay. There can be so much inflammation in your body that what you're going to put all that money and hard effort into is not going to work. I want to let you know that I also have a master's in project management. So again, treating your body like it's the most important project that you're ever going to work on. That was my focus of study when I went back and got my MBA, to help other businesses. And I have a very strong belief in being able to take things from what seems hard and overwhelming, simplifying that so you can break it down into small bite-sized pieces. And what that does is it also gives you a streamlined approach, because there's a lot of stress going on at the center of our conditions. So if you have GI problems, let's just talk about constipation, and you're not going to the bathroom every single day, how many days do you think about that? Just about every day, right? Every single day, I hear of people who are constipated and they're so worked up over it that their bodies cannot relax. But they're so worked up over it because nothing that you're doing is working. I love getting those text messages, and just got one this past week while I was traveling with my family of, I'm constipated. And we're working through the situation. Within 3 or 4 days, this person is going to the bathroom, and this person is no longer stressing over that situation. And when that situation can be relieved, we then have the energy that we can work on something else. Okay. And that's why I feel like it's so important from a streamlined position to take your body from what is the biggest stressor and simplifying this. Okay, I'm totally getting off of my notes here. I do have some notes, but what I want to let you know is that I feel your body is running on empty. How many of you feel like your body is running on empty? Okay, so many times as women, as moms, as wives, as leaders of our household, we are the gatekeepers of our home. And I can guarantee you that my husband never cared what I brought into the house as far as snacks, food, and house cleaner and laundry detergent, as long as it met our needs. Okay, so give me a hands up if that's you. All right, how many of you feel like you are the one in control of what you're bringing into your home and what you're putting on the table? And as long as it tastes good, as long as it satisfies people's like palate, as long as it like fills that empty spot in the belly, you can handle the situation. Well, now let's make it simple. Let's give you clarity as to what it is that you need to bring in to heal your body, to satisfy yourself. Okay, because a lot of us are tired, bloated, stressed, very confused with what's going on in our body. I use functional medicine, functional nutrition, and specifically functional testing to help you get the clarity that you need so you are no longer confused. Because if we stay confused, we cannot take action. I even had a conversation today with a sweet friend of mine, and talking about probiotics. And when we talk about probiotics, I get asked that all the time. What probiotics should I take? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know your body. Like, she was telling me how she had taken a probiotic and it stirred up bacteria, and she ended up with a vaginal bacteria condition that she won't need none of this. And I'm like, your body needs to be detoxing. Okay, let's work on the liver. Let's work on detoxification. So what I'm going to tell you about today is a little bit of that system. Okay, I think it's very important for you to understand the system and a systematic process on how to help your body. So when I work with these women, when I work with families, everything from people who have been diagnosed with things as difficult as mast cell activation, things as difficult as autism, things as difficult as neurological tics. We get into women, and a lot of times the women are not sleeping, you're stressed, your hormones are out of whack. And I'm gonna tell you this system that can work very systematically, not exactly the same for every person, because I also believe in a personalized approach. But what I do want you to know is that the quick fix is not going to work. And this is not another fad diet. This is about that personalization where I help you get the answers and I help you create that clarity to rebuild your body from the inside out. Okay. I talk to clients all week who tell me that their labs, their blood work, that they go to the doctor, their labs keep coming back looking normal, but they continue to walk out of the office feeling like crap and completely confused. If that is you, then you were in the right place. Okay. If you continue to feel awful, even though that blood work looks good, you're in the right place. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about blood work too. I have a sample here that I want to show you. I've also talked to clients who go to the GI doctor, and the GI doctor is like, no, even after a scope, even after all the testing, all that blood work, that everything looks good. And they're like, you must be stressed. You must be having high levels of anxiety. So your stomach is in knots. No, you're not having high levels of anxiety, but I see clients on anxiety medication. I see clients with acne who are put on birth control pills. I see clients who have PCOS and unbalanced hormone who are put on birth control pills, and it's only making the situation worse. So you are in the right place if you continue to feel like you are just dismissed. Okay, because anxiety is not what's keeping your symptoms there. Your symptoms are causing the anxiety. But what I also want to tell you is that although many people are treating those symptoms, okay, and you're also likely focused on some symptoms, we've got to look at the body systems that are broken. And you may be saying, what is this functional nutrition thing? What is functional medicine? Well, from a functional standpoint, we look at where is function lost. Typically, when you go to the doctor, they're running diagnostic tests. They're running tests that help you diagnose so you can be prescribed. So we're not looking at a diagnosis, and I'm not looking at diagnostic testing because I don't want to prescribe you something. I want to help your body, again, start to rebuild function. Where is function lost? Where can we rebuild that function? No matter what your journey is, okay? No, I have clients that come to me after GLP-1 weight loss medication, and let me tell you, that's going to slow your bowels down big time. A lot of them have lost a lot of hair. A lot of them have lost a lot of muscle mass. Where is that function lost, and where do we need to rebuild that function? And we start from there. So what I want to tell you is the truth, that because fatigue, bloating, brain fog, hormone chaos, it all has one common denominator. And that common denominator is typically that your absorption is not working because your body is so inflamed. And that is why I decided to focus on nutrition, and I decided to focus on gut health when I went back to school for functional medicine, functional nutrition, because the hormonal chaos, the skin issues, minerals and vitamins are typically not absorbing at a cellular level, and neither are your hormones. If this is your cell, I'm gonna try to make a ball, and there's inflammation all around it, if you cover your cell with inflammation, okay, then the hormones cannot penetrate through that inflammation and get into your cell. So you've got an absorption issue. Now, what is causing that? And a lot of times it's inflammation, and that's why I look at food, because you are eating 3 meals a day. And with those 3 meals a day, you have those opportunities to either help your body or hurt your body. Now, if all you're doing is putting processed foods into your body, then you're hurting your body every single opportunity you get, okay? We are here to serve ourselves, okay? We are serving so many other people. And typically as women, we are serving and serving and serving that we forget to serve ourselves, okay? But if you are not serving your body those meals, those opportunities, at least some type of nutrition to where your body can recover. And I'm not saying every meal has to be organic. I'm not saying every meal has to be cooked at home. But even when I'm traveling, there's a balance. Okay, this past week I was traveling. I took some sourdough starter to do sourdough pancakes. I knew it was going to be good. I knew that meal was going to be good. Do you know what I did? We found an amazing breakfast place that had a lot of raw organic options. So we ended up making pancakes for dinner. We ended up having breakfast for dinner. And who doesn't love that? My family was like in their PJs having the best time, thought it was the best thing ever. And that can just remind you, get back to the basics even at home. Okay, so over the next maybe 20 minutes, because I've already talked so long, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to honor your time as well as mine. I'm going to teach you how to rebuild your gut, balance your hormones, and restore your energy using a system and framework that I have put in place. Okay, I call it the DTS: deficiencies, toxicities, and sensitivities. Those are the 3 things that I find create inflammation in your body faster and in a more furious manner than anything else. Okay, if you're deficient in those minerals, if you're deficient in those vitamins, if you're deficient in your hormone restoration, your hormone absorption, there's a lot of deficiencies that can happen for a lot of different reasons. But then we also have the toxicities that are coming into our body. What is toxic? And what can be toxic to you is not necessarily toxic to me. And the sensitivities. Okay, so what we're finding are that those are the 3 things that create inflammation really fast in your body that are keeping you stuck. All right, so why are you stuck and what's holding you back? So number 1, if we're only looking again at one piece of the puzzle, All right. When you're only looking at one piece of the puzzle, when you're only treating your symptoms, not your systems to restore function. Remember, we're looking to restore function in the body. Then too often we are plagued and we are blocking the progress of those products or the food. All right, could be doing a lot of good things, a lot of good things. But if it's blocked and that success is blocked by inflammation and poor absorption, then you're getting nowhere. You're sitting on a bicycle that's up on a lift and you're pedaling in place and you're sweating, it's stressful. There's so much anxiety going on in your body, but you are stuck. Okay. So let's be honest, you've tried a lot of things and you've tried the diets, you've tried maybe keto, you maybe tried paleo, you may have tried AIP. I talked to somebody earlier they were showing me the cookbook they've been cooking from, and God love them. If you're cooking from a cookbook of recipes and you're doing, I mean, even Whole30, oh, God love you. Okay. And the reason I say that is because although I'm a functional nutritionist and although I love being in the kitchen and I love creating a plate full of flavor and a plate that is just yummy from the inside out. I love the presentation. I love the cooking. I do not like recipes. Okay. I will create a meal plan for you all day long. And when I create meal plans, I give you sometimes, depending on, the toxicities and those sensitivities for you, the meal plans usually have anywhere between 50 and 180 recipes. I'm just going to tell you that sounds like a wide range, but believe me, we get to the root of what's causing the problems in your body. And I give you those recipes. But my family is so busy. My family is so busy that I cannot get into the kitchen and cook for 30 minutes without somebody coming in and asking me a question. And then it gets really frustrating to me because I don't remember where I was. I don't remember the next step. So this is me just being honest with you. Tell me, what kind of cook are you? I like to cook personally. I love to cook before my kids get home from school. If I can take a break from work between 2 and 3, anyway, 2:30 to 3, I really just need like 30 minutes. Then it is my favorite time of the day to cook. I'm trying to hey Paige, I see you. I'm sitting here talking all about our pancakes. I was talking about having breakfast for dinner and pancakes and how amazing it was. And so and I'm telling on myself of not liking how to, cooking from recipes. And we've had that conversation. But when I am in the kitchen and I am cooking and people are asking me questions and I forget where I am, it reminds me of how much I don't like a recipe. Okay. So what you've got to do is find that time to set aside and create that space for you to be able to find what works for you. But stop treating the pieces one piece at a time. All right, we're not going to we're not going to treat the puzzle pieces, and we're not going to treat symptoms. We're going to treat find the function that is lost in your body and remove the inflammation and the poor absorption that is blocking progress. So when clients come to me and those exhausted moms, a lot of times I see exhausted moms with, cortisol imbalance, hormone imbalance. I see athletes who can't recover. Okay. They cannot recover from the hard workout. Sometimes they can't even finish their hard workout. Their bodies are exhausted. Their bodies are reaching a point of fatigue and they cannot recover. I also see women with hormone chaos, and a lot of them are dealing with the toxicities and the poor gut health where nothing is absorbing. They are eating the wrong foods that are causing inflammation in the body, and they're blocking that absorption. So when your body is inflamed, remember, go back to inflammation covering the cell. We've got the cell here, and we're covering that up. When there's inflammation here, the hormones cannot come in and penetrate into that cell. They're basically bouncing off. And when you're doing blood work, you're only getting the blood levels that are available in your body rather than what is absorbing and bioavailable to your system. Okay. So The gut is the command center. Okay, I just talked about that gut and the cellular absorption. The gut is the command center of the body. All right, so the gut is connected to your hormones, and this is the piece that is normally missed, the liver and the detoxification. All right, so we've talked about hormones. Usually brain and mood is high on someone's list. And the immune system also, if you're getting sick, is always on someone's list. But a lot of times when we look at gut health, people miss liver and the detoxification. All right. The reason I like to bring this up with women is think about the liver as the filtration system of your body. And the more we eat food that does not help the body, it's hurting the body, it's clogging that system. It's just like changing the oil on your car, but never changing the oil filter. We have to detox that liver filter, okay? And it's even after, more importantly, after having a baby and those high estrogen levels, or after taking birth control pills or some type of birth control, those higher levels of estrogen are sitting here, and our bodies were not created to filter all that. Like the body cannot utilize nor extract and get rid of all of those excess hormones on a daily basis. So we have the estrogen builds up and builds up and builds up. In our body, we know that those excess estrogen levels create high levels of histamines, and high levels of histamines create pain, they create exhaustion, they create red flareness, the redness of your body. A lot of times that is exhaustion that we find after having a workout. We also know that it creates weight, extra weight in the midsection. But one thing that all of this does, the hormone imbalance, the liver, the detoxification, the mood, the immune system, it's creating stress on your body. Let's go back to where is function lost? Where is function lost in your body, and what is creating stress on your system? So your gut isn't just about digestion, but it is the body's command center over all of those areas. And when the gut is off, everything in your body can feel off. Okay, so it is what is communicating with your entire body. So when we talk about you are what you eat, it's really you are what you absorb. Okay, we could eat and eat and eat tons of nutrition. I even spoke with someone earlier and they were like, oh my goodness, every time I take this vitamin, I can smell it when I pee, not just see it. Now, if you are seeing like yellow in your urine and things like that after taking a B vitamin, that is very normal. It's, it could be that you're a little dehydrated, but I can tell you no matter how hydrated I am, when I take a B vitamin, my urine is yellow. Okay. But to smell it, and I'm like, are you absorbing any of that? She's like, I don't think so. I can smell it. And I'm like, ugh. So you really are what you digest and absorb. And this is why I continuously talk about how it's not about a product. It's about the process of going through and cleansing that liver, lowering the inflammation, eating the right foods to stop inflaming the body, and then bringing in some supplementation. So I see women all the time eating clean, taking those expensive supplements. Oh gosh, even when they go to other, what I'll call holistic functional centers, whether it be a compounding pharmacy or a doctor, so many times, and I told you earlier in this conversation, in this call, like I was taking hundreds of dollars worth of supplements a month and not seeing any progress with my hormones. My PCOS was so bad when I was younger. My cycles were heavy. My clotting was extremely, horrible. Thankfully, I did not go down the route of having a hysterectomy. So often elective hysterectomies trigger autoimmune conditions. Those elective hysterectomies, like when the sex hormones are depleted, and even if you are keeping your ovaries and some of your hormonal parts, it creates hormone chaos in your body. It's basically, we're cutting off that cycle in that loop. And it's creating that stress load on the body, which is constantly depleting the adrenals. And that's why you see everybody going through perimenopause and menopause going, I'm exhausted, I'm fatigued, I've got not only hormonal chaos, but adrenal chaos, and a cortisol storm is what I call it, that's going on in the body, because it's a complete stress cycle that our bodies are going through. But what you need to, going back, that was a whole tangent on the hormones, but going back and looking at what you're digesting and absorbing, looking at the root cause, looking at I did mention the hormonal chaos, but looking at the gut lining. So one other thing that I like to do is look at, if we do have a gut lining issue, and I talked about building those meal plans, and sometimes they're 50, we can get together 50 recipes, and sometimes it's around 180, 200. It really depends on what your gut lining, what's going on inside your gut, how much inflammation is there. When your gut lining becomes leaky and inflamed, your immune system goes into overdrive. And when too many foods are leaking through and going through into the bloodstream, we see it triggering the hormonal chaos, the stress on the system, blood sugar swings, fatigue, and even those autoimmune conditions. So the 4R method that I take my clients through, I told you I was going to teach you about the 4Rs tonight. I was going to teach you about that DTS framework, going through deficiencies, toxicities, and sensitivities. So the 4R method is looking to see what needs to be removed. Do we need to remove toxins, detoxify the body, remove some foods temporarily and those sensitivities, and get the body to a point that it can start to repair? All right, repair is the second R. So if you're taking notes, if you're one that likes to write things down, we like to remove what's triggering the inflammation. We like to repair the body. Like, is the gut leaky? Does your cortisol need to be calmed down? Okay, going through and calming that stress response, calming the immune response. Then we want to restore the deficiencies. Okay, so the DTS was the deficiencies, the toxicities, and the sensitivities. Sometimes we need to remove those sensitivities and those toxicities so we can get in here and look at the deficiencies and restore those. And then retention, being able to retain, being able to have a sustainable balance, and being able to create a system that you can do on a day-to-day without the stress. I heard someone one time say that going through the McDonald's drive-through, if you were going to stress over eating the salad, then you might as well just eat the Big Mac and be happy about it. Now, I'm not going to go through the McDonald's drive-through, and I'm not going to encourage you to do that either. But a retainable and sustainable plan is my framework for everybody. You have to have daily habits that really mesh with your lifestyle. So we create that together. After we restore and balance your hormones, your minerals, and your energy is there so you can focus on creating a system that works. So I also want to tell you real quick, I don't like talking about other programs. I'm definitely not going to highlight any practitioners or places, but other programs fail because they're not looking at where function is lost. They're just looking at giving you a product. They're just looking at, throwing $500 worth of supplements out there. They're not testing you. They're guessing to see what is going on in your body. Maybe they're just treating those symptoms and not the system. So gut-only programs often ignore hormones, and that is so backwards. I like to do it all at once. If you are a female, if you feel that you have hormone problems, I will not work on hormones without working on the gut. All right, if I feel like someone's going through that McDonald's drive-through all the time and really eating a poor, nutritional plan, then I don't work on hormones, because I am here to tell you they don't absorb. I tried it for years, and my hormones never balanced until I really started working on balancing my gut. Those supplements without absorption, it's wasting effort and your money. I'm not here to do that either. So other programs stop at one system. As a new client, when I bring you in as an our intake is part of looking at everybody's system and looking at where function is lost. Is it your gut? Is it your hormones? Is it your thyroid? What's zapping your energy? Why is your hair, why are you losing hair? Why are you not sleeping? Your body doesn't work in a silo like that. Okay, we have to look at the body as a whole and not individual. Again, we're going to look at the deficiencies, toxicities, and sensitivities, and that is the foundation of everything I teach. I hope that makes sense. Put in the comments if there's any questions. Let me go through and see if I have any. See here on Zoom, no. And then testing. I want to talk to you about testing. I do not do an abundance of testing. You may be like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so expensive. I don't do an abundance of testing. I actually fell into that trap where we did thousands of dollars worth of testing and then had to start a functional medicine plan when my son was sick. But at that point in time, I'll be honest with you, I would have done anything it took. There were a handful of tests, one that created a daily action plan for my family. And that one plan is what taught me how to cook a dinner and put it on the table without him getting sick. Okay. That is one that I highly, highly recommend for everyone. And that is where we're going to test 190 foods as well as Candida to see if Candida is that master problem that's blocking absorption in your body. The other thing that I mentioned is a hormone test. I do believe in doing a hormone test that is not blood, because the blood is going to give you a false indication of what's available in your body rather than what's being utilized. And then if you have a very complicated case, I have hundreds of tests that are available to me, but I can tell you at max, I usually add 1 or 2 more, and that's not that's not often. One that I have come to love is a mineral test that looks at your minerals, your toxicity, your heavy metals, what's really bogging your system down. And that test also allows us to look at the adrenal, your stress load, your immune system, infection on there, and thyroid. So it's a great test. And a lot of times I add it on, very, very minimal cost. So I don't do a ton of testing, but I am here to tell you that it's really, really hard for me to create a meal plan for you if I don't know what foods it is, and what I'm looking at, like what I'm working with. So my motto here is test, don't guess. I love to give you 100% clarity. And here's what I'm here to tell you. People can tell you to go gluten-free. People can tell you to eat dairy-free. People can tell you these things all day long. But just like I did, I'm like, is that really going to work for me? We question it. We're humans. We question what is best for me. And I can tell you that going gluten-free did absolutely nothing to help heal my son, because there were 3. I would name 3 that were probably stronger triggers for him than that gluten. And he had even been diagnosed with celiac. Gluten and grains can cross-react. And that is why I love to test, because there's always a lot of cross-reaction factors. You can also get a test that lights up with a ton of reactions, and you really just need to and we need to categorize it, okay? Not downplay it, but we need to simplify it. Because your immune system's not necessarily going to react to all of those foods. It's just that your immune system's overreacted because you perhaps have leaky gut. Or your body is just in overreactive mode, and we need to bring that down, because you need to be able to eat food for nutrition. So this is where everything changes, is when you get 100% clarity from these tests, without a shadow of doubt how to take action. And that is so important for us as humans to be able to develop that action plan. Okay, to have that transformational plan. I told you I was going to give you an example of blood work, and I did not. I want to tell you, this is one that I purposely took the name and everything off of, and just created a copy. But this is like a series of blood work that this sweet client had done, 3 different blood work times, really over the course of a couple of years, and been told that everything looks good, everything. Well, as you can see over here, I only wrote where function is lost. Okay. It is so important to look through a functional lens at your blood work, at your situation, and start to restore where function is lost. So things start to fall into place. Maybe it sounds complicated, but I promise it is just as easy as connecting dominoes. Okay, this one has five dots. We're going to put 5 dots there. And then the next one has 2. And then the next, so it's just like building a system that works. The transformation is unbelievable when we build that foundation and everything starts to click. The first thing I like to see is people sleeping and being energized, because if you're not energetic, if you feel like you're exhausted and drained, you can't even take the next step, right? Then we need to balance the hormones. We need to heal the gut. And really, I would put those maybe in reverse. I like to heal the gut so we can make sure the hormonal balance is absorbing. And then and making sure that absorption is restored. But it all happens really quick because like the gut and the absorption and the hormones, and then we start to have these aha moments. And that's what I want for you, is that aha moment. So start to think about, what is your roadmap to healing? What does that look like for you? Your personalized ThriveWell plan, for me, it would start out with testing. And as I have mentioned to several of you on the phone, in other workshops, the testing can simply be starting with blood work. It doesn't have to be complicated. I have programs that are built for everyone and for all budgets. So what I would love for you to do is to put action in the comments if you want more information, like comment action. Let me know if you would like more information on creating that plan, on getting the testing so we can create a very, very clear 4R action step for you with ongoing support and the aha moment that you've been looking for, rather than just going, oh, it's just all in your head. Your blood work looks good and you continue to feel like crap. So if you're ready to get very, very clear and get that 100% clarity on your action plan, again, put action down in those comments, and I will be sure and get you more information on how to take action. You'll also find throughout my social media, and I can put it in the comment section here, how to book a free 20-minute consult. Some of you have already done that, and I just cannot wait to talk to you. That is something that I just love doing, is helping people. But if you're ready to get clear, heal your gut, and restore your energy, you are ready to join the root cause reset. Cannot say that tonight. And I do want you to go take the opportunity to book that 20-minute clarity call. I love getting clear with you and just creating that moment to where you're not crazy, but there's function lost and there's actually hope in restoring your body. So I know I was tired of feeling like I was doing everything right, but not making progress. I was tired of putting food on the table and people's noses turning red, people's eyes watering. It's like I've got somebody joining. So if you're just now joining, I just want to say hello. We are wrapping things up. So what I'll do is send you the replay link to this call. What we've been talking about is the root cause reset program. And I was just wrapping things up and saying, if you are tired of feeling like you're doing everything right, but not making progress, this is your next step. Okay. I would love for you to join me. I would love for you to book that 20-minute clarity call. And I look forward to seeing you. So Doreen, if you're just joining, I'm going to send you the replay link, and make sure that you get that so you can watch the recording, because we have spent the last 43 minutes, almost 45 minutes, talking about how you can rebuild your hormones, your energy, and restore your gut and your body all together. I mean, right? One simple system to restore the function in your body where it's lost. Thank you guys for joining. I am going to end the call and look forward to talking to many of you this week on those clarity calls.